The importance of the Divine Comedy seems to be this, that it has stood the test of time as a powerful expression of Christian revelation put in poetic terms. It still has the power to move Christian and non-Christian, but especially Christian readers.
I remember there was a part where Dante's finally at the very center point of hell, right? The word that Dante used in Italian was, instead of saying the center of hell, he said the point of hell. You know, Euclid says the point is that which has no part. And I think that's kind of poetic, because that point in hell, that's as far as you can get from God.
Dante himself is complementary. His work is a complement to what we do in the philosophy and the theology tutorials, providing another way of engaging with the truths that we are seeing, that we believe, and that we come to know and to love more deeply while we're here.
It's kind of an interesting counterpart, especially to the Augustine we're reading, which talks about heaven, hell, and purgatory, but from a very factual standpoint. I found reading Dante's Divine Comedy a lot more compelling than St. Augustine, just because you get to see how beautiful heaven is, how ugly hell is. He has to represent it through the senses because he's a poet. It's more, almost through being poetry, I think it touches one more deeply in a way.
In Paradiso, literally a person is shining, right? And at the beginning you don't understand why they're shining. You think it's just like part of them. But later you find out that it's not this light that they're making, but it's actually like a reflection of the light that God is sending through them. So I think that was kind of beautiful, and the way I understood the Divine Comedy as a whole was how a person, particularly people that you love and you meet along the road, how they can ultimately lead you to God, you know?
So I think if you ask Dante the poet, as far as we know, what are you trying to achieve in this work? He's trying to express concretely as he can as a poet, beautifully, movingly, the life of the soul, the disaster that is hell, the disaster that is sin, and the life and the sweetness and the bliss that is arriving at your final end, which is God himself.
When you get to heaven, each layer of heaven is a different planet, from the Ptolemaic standpoint, which we studied in the fall. So it's just kind of neat to see that feeding into the beautiful images in heaven. Just before that in seminar, I think we do Boethius, the consolation of philosophy, focusing on God as the one good thing that we must order our life to. And then Dante approaches that from a very personal level of this man who's lost his way and needs to reorder his life to the good. And then you get to the end and you see that the good is God, and it's this inaccessible light that we'll only fully see in heaven.